Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Stephon Devereux Show, where you get news, interviews, hot topics, music from around the world, and more. Now here's your host, Stephon Devereux. Stephon Devereux Show. We are back. It's been so long, man. God damn. It's been so long. Yeah, life is funny, people. Right now, I'm going through some issues. Like my back and my neck is killing me. My arm is killing me. But guess what? This is going to make me feel better. Welcome to the show. Welcome back as we start another season of the Stephon Devereux Show / the Devereux Committee of Pro Wrestling. And today we're going to mix it up just a little bit. You know, I actually thought about playing some music on the show as well, but we got so much to talk about. First and foremost, I need to know how's my people doing. Are people good? I hope all my people's good. Yeah, if you're good, thank you. Okay, shout out. Yeah, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Leave it in the comments. Facebook, so any social media site, whatever. Just leave it there. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me if you're live. If you are listening to this show on demand, if you're listening to this show on Angry Kids 24/7 Radio, the goddamn best internet radio station out there. If you're listening to the show there, I want to thank you for listening to the show. But man, got a lot of stuff to talk about today. That's why I kind of debated on talking about music or playing music and talking about some of the things that have been on my mind since we took our break back in September, I believe. It's been September, October, yeah. It's been a while. So I just wanted to, touch base on some of these things that have been bothering your boy, Stephon Devereux, for quite some time now. And, oh my goodness. Okay. Now I'm going to get my Leo Getz on. Okay. For you kids out there who don't know who Leo Getz is, please watch the Lethal Weapon franchise starring Danny Glover, Mel Gibson, and Joe Pesci later on. Anyway. Oh, man. Some things have happened in this business over the past, 9 months. And, we had to deal with the pandemic. Then, we had to deal with the fans starting to come back. Now we're dealing with releases across the world or across the World Wrestling Entertainment from The Office. We'll get into that later. But from The Office all the way to the talent. Yeah, it's hard times right now in the WWE, even though they are making so much money. And I keep trying to tell you people, please, all you have to do is go and take your little bit of hate that you have or a lot of hate that you have for the WWE and turn that hate into some green. Invest in the company. Invest in the company because the stock is playing beautifully right now. And if you people understand the market, I don't think the WWE is going to go down anytime soon because the WWE, they are making a profit. And that's what investors love. Investors love profits. They love profits. So if you are smart, you will invest in the WWE. Of course, I'm not a stockbroker. I'm not trying to give you advice. Okay, look, I'm giving you a tip. I just say take that hate that you have towards the WWE, whether you don't watch the product, because I really don't watch the product myself. I watch when I have to, but I watch my financial reports. I watch what I think the future of the WWE is going to look like. That's what I watch out for. And I advise you to do the same thing. People don't listen sometimes. But anyway, man, it's great to be back. Had a lot of things that's been happening to myself. Like I said earlier, I've been going through some health issues. I'm a fighter. It hurts it hurts, but I'm a fighter though. Oh man, I'm back in the wrestling business full time. Look, I know I said it before. I was done, but I'm back in the wrestling business. I see a few other of my friends who said that they were going to be done with the wrestling business. They're back in the business full time. it's just a weird situation right now because the situation I'm in is for Pro Wrestling Express, a company based here in Pittsburgh that's been here for 27 years. It's a long time. And it's a company that has given us some great talent in the area and also on a worldwide stage. A couple of those people being Kurt Angle and Corey Graves, WWE, Corey Graves. And PWX, it's like the best kept secret in Pittsburgh wrestling because it's been there forever. It kind of reminds me of ECWA out in Delaware. Those guys were like the best kept secret on the East Coast for years. I mean, all the talent that was coming out in the late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s. A lot of those guys were coming out of, ECWA. You can go check it out. Reckless Youth being one of them. I can go on, but I'm not trying to get into ECWA. But PWX, went through some situations, and I just got very fortunate. I've known the owner for years. I used to call the owner all the time when I first broke into the business years ago, back in 97. 96 broke in, 97 started calling him. And I would call this man all the time. His name's Jim Miller. And, over the years, we've had chances to work together for a while. Everybody knows about, I'm not the most liked guy because I don't play well with others. I don't give a goddamn because if you piss me off, I'm out. And there was things, Jim never really pissed me off. I will say that there was just other people in his circle that would tick me off to a point to where I'm not dealing with it. And I will go back to doing my own thing. But right now, Pro Wrestling Express is possibly, I could say it was almost like a lifesaver for myself because, a lot of I lost my father and I lost my stepfather, within a month of each other, August, September. And, that's why I took the break in September. But the wrestling business kind of found its way back into my life just a few months before my dad's passed. And it was like, okay, I'm back in this thing for a minute, just sniffing around because my buddy Neil hits me up and he tells me, hey, man, there's an opportunity. We're going to go talk to Jim and see what we can, help him out, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Jim's a guy who doesn't need any help. Jim can do things on his own. But what I love about Jim Miller is, he listened to our ideas and he said, okay, let's run with it. And we've been there. I've been there, for a year now, Neil, and now we won't get into that. Big Neil, the real deal, my co-host for, the Stephon Devereux Show. Yes, there's a bunch of Stephon Devereux shows out there. My goodness. But, it's been a year now, and I believe that I've had so much fun. It's been up and down. We've had some situations that just and I wanted to sometimes just, cuss my boss out. But I know I couldn't. I can't go in there and Steve Austin, Jim Miller, and then think that I'm going to keep my job. But the way I look at it is it's an opportunity to make a difference in this business because I'm tired of just complaining about why I don't watch the business. Now I want to talk about how I can help the business. And PWX, Pro Wrestling Express, with all the history that it has attached to that name, is giving me that opportunity. And, we've been, like I told the guys, when I first sat down with the crew, I kind of explained it to them. Guys, look, it's almost like a football season. We're getting ready for a football season. This is how it's going to go down. First, when we first start the school out or get the new class that we had come in, it's like the draft. We got to get you guys ready. And it's going to be OTAs. And then it's going to be training camp. And then it's going to be preseason. And we did some preseason. We had a preseason. We did some tapings and so forth, and we followed the rules and everything as far as the COVID rules and so forth. And I hate saying that word, but we followed the rules. And You know, it was fun. But July 31st, Pro Wrestling Express, 2125 Beacon Street, Keysport, PA, right outside of Pittsburgh, 2125 Beacon Street. The season starts. For all the guys who are out there listening to this, the season starts that day. Are you guys ready to try to win a championship? You know, I've said this before. The one thing that we lack in this area is people don't want to win championships. And I'm talking championships, I'm talking like 500, 1,000 people in the building, 2,000 people in a building. It can be done, especially in the Pittsburgh area. That tri-state area can be done. That's the challenge. That's a championship to me. That's a division title. That's a Super Bowl. Yeah, feel good. Feel good walking away from a show that had 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people. I mean, come on. And this is what I'm excited about with this new opportunity here at PWX. Now, people have been asking, oh, are you guys bringing back the old guys and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Come and find out. I've been talking to some of the old-timers, and I don't even like to call them old-timers because those old-timers that people call old put on better matches than these guys today that are on national TV. That's sad. That's sad. But it's the experience that they've been on an indie scene working these matches and working these shows and being able to work in front of a crowd that they are being able to orchestrate, conduct. Because I was forever stated, professional wrestlers are like conductors. And locally, we got some of the best guys to do that. And the problem that I see locally is these guys, for years, they will, they'll do their thing, but they never reach the next level. And there's been a couple. But these guys, it seems like they, for the wrestlers, they don't want to win a championship. They don't want to take that next step. But in PWX, we are not going to have that mentality. I promise you that. Our pro wrestlers will not have that mentality. I will be bringing some guys on the show over, the next few weeks, months, and I'm going to let them explain that to you. I will also be having some musical guests as always. I got to do my music back. But anyway, but we're doing some great things. You can go check out Pro Wrestling Express on Facebook. I'll leave the link in the description. But I just want to let you know that things are, looking up for your man, Stephon Devereux. They looking up. We having some issues, like I said in the past, and I'm getting over it, these health things. But I promise you this, over the next the next few months, you're going to hear more and more about how great things are coming along in PWX. And I'm going to be the guy who's going to be yelling and screaming about it. Why? Because I believe in this product. And I hope you will believe in this product too. But speaking of believing in a product, oh my goodness, man. After this break, we're going to go into a guy who believes in his own BS. His own BS. And people know where I'm going with this because if you follow me on Facebook, then you know I can't stand this man. And he's a professional wrestling promoter who needs to shut his damn mouth. And we're going to talk about that right after you're listening to the Stephon Devereux Show here on Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. You're listening to Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. How to text a guy to keep him interested? It's a question many women ask daily. Well, Amy North believes she has found the answer with how to text a guy to keep him interested. It's a new course that she has put together, and it's helping ladies all across the world. You can go to howtotextaguy-to-keep-him-interested.weebly.com for more information. Amy says she has the answer, so find out there at howtotextaguy-to-keep-him-interested.weebly.com.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
The world is a beautiful place again.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm getting older. Do I need to worry about falling?
Yes, you do. Each year, 1 in 4 people 65 and older will experience a fall, and many will be serious. The majority of falls happen at home, so remove things that could make you trip and install handrails to keep you steady. To learn more about the steps you can take to help prevent a fall, please talk to your doctor. You can also visit aarpfoundation.org or medicaremadeclear.com/falls. This message was brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
You're listening to Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Stephon Devereux Show. We are back once again. Oh, man. Oh. Now, look, I was talking to somebody, and I told them, my plan about what I wanted to do here. And I was told, dude, I'm just being real with you. You don't want that heat, do you? Just in case something happens to where you may need these guys one day. And you know what I said? Oh, well, because I'm just being real. It's time for someone to talk about this. It is. It is definitely time for someone to talk about this. And so I've been trying to tell people for a long time now, I can smell a con artist from a long miles away. Miles away. I can smell BS miles away. Now let me walk you down this road because, yes, we have a full segment for just this topic. Let me walk you down this road. A few years ago, there was rumors about this new promotion that was going to start up. It was going to have billionaire money backing it up, and it was going to have a national TV spot, possibly. And it was going to have the young talent in the area, around the world that the WWE doesn't have. And these guys were going to take over. Now, I looked at some of the names. They had Cody Rhodes. I'm a fan of the Rhodes family. Dustin Rhodes was going to be a part of it. The Young Bucks. I'm not a big fan of the Young Bucks, by the way. But these guys were going to start a promotion with some billionaire money. I love saying that, billionaire money. And you know what? I was out there yelling and screaming. Go back to the archives. Go back to the Stephon Devereux Show archives, the Devereux Committee archives. You can't say I'm lying. I was screaming and hollering about this product, man. I was so excited. I'm telling all my friends, hey, man, this could be decent, blah, 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 blah. They do a press conference. Yeah, we're going to be sports-based and blah, blah. We're going to do this and do that. I'm excited. But we should have known. We should have known that we was going to be bamboozled. We should have known that we was going to be hoodwinked. But we should have known we was going to be led astray. How? Why do I know this? How? Because if you watched the press conference that they did, yeah, bruh, wasn't looking too fun to me. It was looking a little bit, a little hokey. Nothing sports-based about it. It was looking more a little hokey. Start there. They did the first shows, the pay-per-views, first shows, everything's looking. Then we start the first night. That first night, October of 2019. It debuts. AEW Dynamite. The smart marks are going crazy. The WWE fans are like, yeah, okay, whatever, who cares? But the smart marks are going crazy because, those are the people who don't, in quotations, I wish you could see me, watch the WWE, even though they sit on the internet and complain about it all damn day long. But they don't watch the WWE, right? Okay. Anyway. The first show was okay, guys. The second show is okay. We seen some guys there that I was like, damn, bro, we got some decent guys here, man. I was a big fan of MJF. A decent fan of Orange Cassidy. Chris Jericho, I'm not the biggest Chris Jericho fan. I'm being real. I don't think Chris Jericho has been funny since early days WWE. Like, funny. You know, not the stuff that he does now that he thinks is funny. He's a 50-year-old guy who thinks he's cool still. I mean, dude, I only knew one 50-year-old guy who was cool as hell, and I wasn't allowed to experience it, but if I go back in history, go back and read, Frank Sinatra was probably the coolest 50-year-old man on the face of this earth. Just saying. Chris Jericho, you're no Frank Sinatra. They do have a possible Frank Sinatra, but that's another story. I think that's MJF, as I said before. Anyway. But over time, I started to see things. You know, the sports-based product that they promised us, started to see something different, bruh. I started to see a little bit of WWE, a little bit of, I won't go Nitro just yet. I won't go Attitude Era just yet. But what destroyed me and my faith in AEW, and that they can turn this product around and do something that could make some noise, was when they did their daggone dance routine. You know, the, what are they called? The song and dance routine. When they did that, MJF and Chris Jericho, it was over. But see, what destroyed my faith in professional wrestling's future, as far as the fans, is that the fans who crapped all over the WWE, and if they did something like that, because they've done things like that, and those fans crapped all over the WWE. And you know what these fans decided to do? These fans decided to defend it. Yes. How can you hate on one product for doing this, but then another product does the same thing, and you sit there and defend it and well, Chris Jericho and MJF are blah, 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 blah. Hand to the face. Shake the head. Please, just drop the emoji. I don't get it. I don't get it. Low key made me realize that the guy who's running this thing is a con artist. Now, I don't have anything to back it up besides the product we're watching. The product that we're watching right now, probably the worst product that I could. Look, I'm going to tell people can say whatever the hell they want about TNA. And shout out to Jeff Jarrett. If you don't listen to Jeff Jarrett's podcast, you're not a true wrestling fan, because that guy, man, Jeff is dropping jewels. Go check it out. My World Podcast, Jeff Jarrett, my goodness, one of the best wrestling podcasts out there. That thing should be getting promoted everywhere in the wrestling community because it's really good. But I'm going back to this thing. But when people sat there and said all the things they said about TNA actually put on a better product than people were giving it credit for. AEW will not compare to TNA, especially the first 10 years, 12 years of TNA. AEW will never, ever, ever, ever compare to that age of TNA. Never. Because the stuff that we see now is being run by a guy who knows nothing about this business. People get mad at me because I call him this word, or call him this. Tiny Khan. Tiny C-O-N. They get mad when I say this on Twitter. They get mad when I say this on Facebook. But I don't care. I've been banned on Facebook because I defend professional wrestling against these daggone losers who want to take my sport and turn it into a goddamn circus. You complain about Vince McMahon doing it, but you got no problem with this guy doing it? Case in point, Why does this man have to constantly do podcast and radio shows and talk about his product like it's the best thing since sliced bread, or like he invented the wheel? This guy's out here acting like he doing something. Bro, you ain't do nothing. You have dropped ratings and the ratings. You got back up and you keep going back down. You may spike every now, but you're not, bruh. When you go back to your regular spot coming up in the next 2 weeks, I believe, your ratings might look decent for a week. But what does it do? It always falls, and it falls, and it falls. If your product was so great, why didn't those fans follow you to the Friday nights? Why didn't those people who watched 2 hours of SmackDown, why didn't they turn the channel and say, hey, let me check this AEW stuff out? Because they know the product sucks. The use of your guys. You're bringing in mainstream celebrity wrestlers, and you turn them into what? Bro, Big Show, I don't care if Big Show said, look, Tony, I don't want to wrestle anymore. I just want to come in there and do a couple of things. I'm not putting him on my goddamn YouTube C show. He's on my main show. Somehow, some way, I don't care if he's a goddamn commissioner. You put him as a commentator on your C show that is broadcasting on YouTube. Goodness. That's driving me crazy. Look, I'm gonna break this down. When I got into the business in 96, and Jim Miller and I, we laugh about this now, but I was such a mark. I was the biggest goddamn mark. You know how, dude, I was such a mark. I was such a mark that I still thought wrestling was possibly real until my training. And still didn't realize that maybe because the training, we really trained. We got beat up. Yeah, it was beautiful. We need some more of that. We got beat up. Didn't realize that maybe this thing isn't legit when, or excuse me, it is legit because the concussions that I got said it was legit. The rope burns, the mat burns, getting beat up, the exercising, getting beat up, the running and getting beat up. We need some of that. Anyway, it took me finding mentors in my life. One being Neil Haley, who is, yes, my co-host, the Neil Haley Network. But mentors like Neil, advice from guys like Norm Connors, one of the greatest wrestling promoters on the East Coast. Listening to guys like that, being around executives, television executives, that taught me the ins and outs, the radio executives, that taught me the ins and outs of that part of the business. When I met this guy who I'm going to talk about later on in the show, when my buddy Chaz introduced me to a guy by the name of Jerome Young, a.k.a. New Jack. And New Jack, being a friend of mine, we'll talk about this later, made me understand the business even more. It was like the cherry on top of everything else that everyone had taught me. New Jack gave the cherry on top. Sometimes I believe the icing and a cherry, because he really, really put this whole thing together in my head for me. Tony Khan obviously never had one of these type of people in his life as far as professional wrestling. These things that are happening with AEW can be fixed. First and foremost, the guys got to shut the F up about the WWE. Second, Tony Khan, their leader, matter of fact, he needs to do it first. Needs to shut up about the WWE. These guys need to shut up on these damn podcasts. They do the show on Wednesday nights. Thursday, they're doing a podcast. Well, maybe, Jericho had another plan, another idea for their matchup. Why are you telling us this stuff? It's not that important to tell us your ideas or your plans for matches and what you was going to do and this and that. Why? All you're doing is giving content to bloggers like myself, radio podcast hosts like myself. I still say radio show because I'm old school as hell, because that's where I started, by the way, people. Radio. But if that's what you want, that's cool. But there's just way too much of it out there. And then you're tossing stones at people who are trying to help you. Jim Cornette, Vince Russo. These guys don't agree on anything, but agree that your product sucks. That's amazing that you guys have been able to bring together two guys that had to now share the same opinion about your product. Bruh. I'm going to give it up for just for that. We got to start getting some sound effects up on this damn thing. Because I'm serious. If you was able to do that, then you really need to look like, damn. That's like bringing a God and a devil, God and devil together for a dinner, and they make peace. And I'm not going to say which one is God. I'm not going to say which one is devil, but you feel what I'm saying. You understand what I mean. Oh, my goodness. I'm just lost. This is why I call this man Tiny Khan. He conned us into believing this was going to be sports-based. It's far from it. When they did the teleporting thing with Matt Hardy, come on, man. Come on. Miro, they bring Miro in. They pretty much got to do a storyline that's somewhat similar to what he just left in the WWE. Then they make him the video game player. A badass dude who looks like he can kick Mike Tyson's ass one day. Yeah. And you got him playing video games? It's like, I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm completely lost. At the end of the day, I believe that AEW will be gone in 3 years or sold. Tiny Khan will be gone within 3 years. AEW should still, it'll probably stay around somehow, some way, stay afloat. But Tiny Khan will not be involved in this business within 3 years. Because eventually it's going to eat him up. The boys are going to take advantage of him. Well, I can't say that because some of these new guys, I'm sorry, they don't even know how to take it up anyway. It's another story. But let an older crew of guys get into his head and watch Tony Khan bounce quicker than my LeBron, the LA Lakers. How they got bounced out of the playoffs in the first round. Anyway, it's another story. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Oh, man, yeah, we're going to talk about the chick. The writer, the former WWE writer. I got some advice for her. Probably a nice lady, but she needs my advice. You're listening to the Stephon Devereux Show here on Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Angry Kids 24/7 Radio.
How to text a guy to keep him interested? It's a question many women ask daily. Well, Amy North believes she has found the answer with How to Text a Guy to Keep Him Interested. It's a new course that she has put together, and it's helping ladies all across the world. You can go to howtotextaguy-to-keep-him-interested.weebly.com for more information. Amy says she has the answer, so find out there at howtotextaguy-to-keep-him-interested.weebly.com.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
The world is a beautiful place again.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm getting older. Do I need to worry about falling?
Yes, you do. Each year, 1 in 4 people 65 and older will experience a fall, and many will be serious. The majority of falls happen at home, so remove things that could make you trip and install handrails to keep you steady. To learn more about the steps you can take to help prevent a fall, please talk to your doctor. You can also visit aarpfoundation.org or medicaremadeclear.com/falls. This message was brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
You're listening to Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Angry Kids 24/7 Radio.
Stephon Devereux Show, Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Stephon Devereux. We're back. Oh, man. Yeah, we went a little long on that last one. I still had and look, the sad part is I still got a lot more on my paper. I still got a lot more in my paper concerning, AEW. But we're going to save that for next week. So there was a new writer that was hired by the WWE, female writer, and she went on a podcast, from what I understand, and she decided to talk about the WWE. Not in a bad way. She just talked about how she didn't know anything about it. And apparently they hired her, and said she didn't have to have any knowledge of the product, which I don't understand what the issue is. People were talking, oh my gosh, she didn't know nothing about the product. Okay, excuse me, but every writer they hire knows nothing about the product. I thought you knew that already, people. That's been going on for some years now. But this lady, what her problem was, she went on a podcast and she talked about this. She's a stand-up comedian, and she works for a nonprofit, and she talked about how this job, the WWE writing job, is going to pay her, almost 3 times more than what she was making at the nonprofit job. So, of course, she was going to take the job. Who wouldn't? I don't care if she was writing for the goddamn Sopranos or The Wire. Favorite shows of mine. I wouldn't care if she was writing for one of these shows and she got a job with the WWE. Of course she's going to take the job because she's a writer. We don't even know what she was going with. But they had her, usually, okay, bring a writer in. Now I'm going to give you my scenario here with PWX. I don't call them writers. I call them bookers, first and foremost. But, of course I'm going to bring someone in that got some idea of what we're doing or the product. She had no idea. She didn't even watch the show, which is okay, I guess. But why go on TV or go on a podcast and tell people this? What writer really needs this much attention? You just got the job. Did you not think you were going to get a little bit of heat? And I feel bad for the chick. I really do. I really feel bad for her. Why? Because she probably didn't realize that. Writers from other shows like Power and so forth, The Walking Dead, they do interviews. They do podcasts and so forth. And she probably felt, well, they're not going to mind, but you should have cleared it first. And if you did clear it, and you went on a pod, if you did clear it, then I'm okay. I won't get on you for that. But if you didn't clear it, then this is your fault, lady. Like I said, I feel bad for the lady. I feel bad. I don't know if she gave up the nonprofit job or not. She probably did. I hope she can get the job back. I mean, if she was smart, she would turn this into, a positive for her as far as like taking this story on the road and doing some daggone, do some comedy. Destroy the WWE. How are they going to hire someone who knows nothing about their product in the first place and then expect you not to and know anything about their world, their universe? Because there's the WWE universe and the real world at 2 different places. This woman probably knew nothing about that. She talked about the Hurt Business like, just some black guys who, who's bad, they're tough and they wear suits. Man. I mean, I genuinely feel bad for this lady. But damn. the WWE set themselves up for failure along the creative lines because if you bring in people who knows nothing about the business, and I understand that's what you want now, but you still, come on, man, just a little bit, man, just a little bit, because the product sucks. I'm not gonna lie, the WWE product sucks. I mean, it sucks. I'm not one of those daggone defenders out there. You know, I don't defend the WWE product. I defend the WWE business model. Their business model is incredible because they got a product that sucks, but they're making billions. Come on, man. You cannot disrespect that. I don't know what Vince McMahon got going. Man, some dad going hypnotizing these fans or these stockbrokers, or excuse me, these shareholders and these investors. I mean, goddamn. He don't need to care about the fans anymore. He cares about the shareholders. Kind of look bad, though. As a WWE shareholder, this looks bad to me. I'm sorry, Vince. I love you to death. You know, you're the GOAT to me, bro. Ain't nobody ever going to beat you. Man, this looks bad. And I wonder if other shareholders was looking at this the same way. Because the way you just fired her on top of that, like, yeah, you know, maybe like sweeping under the rug for a month and then fire her. Like, I don't get it. Weird situation. Hey, she did get released from the WWE. If I was you, I might call that guy down in Jacksonville because he seems to sign everybody else. Yeah, you might get a job down there. Pretty sure if you try. I feel bad for the wrestlers down there in AEW, by the way. I really do. There's guys down there that I really, really like. And they're out here destroying the WWE because they got to sit there and fight the good fight for their boss. Man. So, chick, you could get a job down there, more than likely. If I was you, at least he may give you 4 times the amount. Feel bad for this girl. But anyway, we're going to go to a break real quick. We come back. I'm going to talk about my friend, my mentor, and I'm going to try to do it without crying. You're listening to the Stephon Devereux Show here on Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Angry Kids 24/7 Radio.
How to text a guy to keep him interested? It's a question many women ask daily. Well, Amy North believes she has found the answer with How to Text a Guy to Keep Him Interested. It's a new course that she has put together, and it's helping ladies all across the world. You can go to howtotextaguy-to-keep-him-interested.weebly.com for more information. Amy says she has the answer, so find out there at howtotextaguy-to-keep-him-interested.weebly.com.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
The world is a beautiful place again.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm getting older. Do I need to worry about falling?
Yes, you do. Each year, 1 in 4 people 65 and older will experience a fall, and many will be serious. The majority of falls happen at home, so remove things that could make you trip and install handrails to keep you steady. To learn more about the steps you can take to help prevent a fall, please talk to your doctor. You can also visit aarpfoundation.org or medicaremadeclear.com/falls. This message was brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
You're listening to Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Angry Kids 24/7 Radio.
Stephon Devereux Show, Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Whew, man. First show back in a while. It's been fun. But like I said, a lot of stuff has been happening, you know, since I took the break. And one of the things that messed me up, my wife went out of town. She went on a girls' trip, and, I decided to take a nap, and I wake up to a text from my son saying, I love you, a text from my wife saying, I love you. I'm thinking to myself, okay, so they love me too much. What's happening? How sometimes when people, they text you out of nowhere, like my kids do it, sometimes, but my wife does it all the time, of course. But my son, when he did it, and then I scrolled down and seen another message, and it said, hey, bro, it's a friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine named Steve Weaver. He said, bro, I just seen something, a rumor that New Jack died. And, I thought it was a joke. New Jack, this is what he does sometimes, and when I went, on social media and seeing it, it messed me up big time. It truly, truly messed me up. Little backstory. I know earlier in the show I said that, New Jack was one of my mentors. But tell you how I met New Jack. So a friend of mine's named Chaz Bishop Slade in the wrestling circles. When we went to a show together, an IWC show promoted by Norm Connors in 2004. I want to say early summer 2004. And we go to the building, and, Chaz already knew Jack. He already knew Jack. And they were friends. He took me back into the locker room and introduced me to New Jack. And, Jack was just, cool. Hey, man, cool. Just a cool dude. There was other guys back there, AJ Styles, CM Punk. I mean, I'm getting, of course I'm getting interviews and so forth with these guys. And from my old TV show called Pro Wrestling Countdown, which will be coming back. Well, the old episodes will be on YouTube soon. And we have another deal working out, but we'll talk about that later. We got deals, baby. But so I sat back, just watched this guy. And this is the guy that I seen on ECW. This is the guy that I seen in Smoky Mountain. This is like, okay. And he's nothing like what people were saying. Coolest dude. He got energy. He's fun to be around and blah, blah, blah. So we leave the show, and Jack wants to hang with Chaz. And of course I'm there with Chaz because Chaz is my ride. And, so we hang out with New Jack that night. And we're with New Jack, and New Jack he's a revealing dude. He tells you some things about himself, if he gets to know you. And, he told me some things about himself and got to know the guy. And fast forward, a few months later, we have a show, or Jack and myself have become friends because, of course, I want to book Jack for one of my wrestling shows that I was promoting in West Virginia. So Jack and I become friends. We talk, we're talking on the phone and blah, blah, blah. And he has a show that he was doing for IWC in Butler, PA, the Big Butler Fair. And this is a funny story. So I caused a little trouble here because I wanted New Jack for a certain price. Because I was told that he was getting that this is what he was charging by this certain promoter by the name of Norm Connors. And I swear to God, Norm, I'm so sorry about this, bro. But so I tell Jack, like, look, Norm said I can get a price. Jack was pissed. So he calls Norm and tells Norm he's not working that show now. But he says he's still going to show up. So when Jack tells you he's going to show up, of course you're kind of paranoid if I'm Norm. But so Jack, he's standing at my house. He's in Pittsburgh. He's standing at my house, while he was here. And he gets a rental car. Jack, my buddy Steve Bernardi, and my ex-brother-in-law Tommy, we go to, and Lou, my man Lou, who looks exactly like New Jack, by the way. We go to the Big Butler Fair. Jack just rolls up in there like he's a fan, and he's just, not a fan. He rolls up in there like he runs the place. He goes and he's running. He goes to the back locker room. He says hi to Honky Tonk Man. He says hi to McFoley. There's other guys that he's talking to. Coco Beware. Blah blah blah. I think Coco was there, but anyway, who cares? So he's talking to these people, and next thing you know, Jack tells me, yeah, I'm going to make me some money. So what he does is he goes and get his table, and where the other wrestlers were at, signing autographs, charging for their picture and autographs, Jack goes and, he has us go and set up a table for him. And right next to him is a guy by the name of Mick Foley. Mick Foley comes up like maybe 10 minutes later. Their lines are, starting to form. Jack's line is way longer than Mick Foley's. Yes, it was way longer than Mick Foley's. So Mick Foley, being a smart businessman that he is, looks over and says, "Hey guys, how about we combine both lines? You can get a picture of New Jack and myself for $25. Of course, the fans jumped on that. Of course they did, because a picture with Cactus Jack, aka Mick Foley, aka Cactus Jack, and New Jack in the same picture, two hardcore legends. You had to do it. And all I remember is when it was all said and done, Jack said, "I told that MFer I was going to get my money no matter what." Now, whatever he was supposed to get from Norm, he got, let's say, triple that, because he walked out of there with almost $1,000. And it was so awesome to watch, because I'd never seen a guy have that power in this business, especially a black man, have that type of power in this business. See, New Jack was all about empowering and helping other black men in professional wrestling. If they needed the help, or if they tried to get the help, if you went to Jack and pretended like you knew everything already, then that's when you got New Jack. But if you went to Jack humble and you just like a regular person, he showed you Jerome Young. I watched people on Facebook for days. Because guess what? I was banned that weekend for arguing with the AEW fan. So I couldn't say anything on Facebook. This is actually my first public addressing of this. But I couldn't say nothing on Facebook. But I watched all these people who sat there and was talking to all these, giving him all his flowers and so forth. Talking a great fight. Oh, I knew Jack, this and that. There was only a few people I know that really genuinely knew the guy. Talked to my man Sicken a few weeks ago about this. Sicken was one of those guys, Sicken from Rad City. I hated the fake love that you guys put out there for him. Because when I was trying to book New Jack, some years back, people were afraid to wrestle him. And what makes me mad about that is, speaking of booking him, I was supposed to book him for a May show this year, or May taping. But since we couldn't have the fans there, I really couldn't bring him in at the time. And he was hot. He was so hot at me. And that messed me up to this day, because my last interaction with Mr. New Jack, he was hot at me. But can I just say something? The past year, New Jack has been getting, almost a year and a half maybe, New Jack has been getting his flowers, Doc. Before he passed, he was getting his flowers. New Jack was everywhere again. They did the Vice documentary about him, The Dark Side of the Ring, which is incredible. He did an interview with Vlad TV, which I'm not a big fan of Vlad's, but that's a huge platform. Huge platform. He was back on doing cameos and doing sit-down interviews again. And he was out there, man, getting his face out there. This dude was gearing up for another huge run with these fans coming back. There's never going to be a Jerome Young again. Never. Never. People can say the issues that they have with this man. That's all well and good. But I didn't have no issue with this man. He even had a little issue with me at the end. But there will never be a Jerome Young. Guy was incredible for our business. I had a chance to interview him in 2004. Sat down for my TV show, Pro Wrestling Countdown. We sat down. He was, like I said, he was staying at my house for a while. When he came into Pittsburgh to do shows, he would come and stay at my house. ex-wife, she loved him. My daughter loved him. You know, my son, who's about to start wrestling himself, was still a baby, but, you know, great guy. All my friends loved this dude. This dude would come over, all my friends would come over to my house just to play him in Madden, just so they could say they beat New Jack in Madden. You know, and these are guys who really didn't know too much about him, but once they and then realized, and I show them tapes, you know, I remember having friends come over from the business, within the business, ex-friends, friends, whatever, come over to my house and realize, oh my God, New Jack's here. And he was just the most down-to-earth dude. I love that dude. And I'm so grateful that he got his flowers. I'm so grateful for the time I had with him. I'm grateful for the time that he got to the last, and I'm trying to build the courage up so I can talk to his wife. I'm trying to build that courage up. But I'm very happy and grateful that he was able to be happy the last days that he had on this earth. Because he truly deserved it. This man was an innovator for our profession. You know, people said, oh, he wasn't a great wrestler. Go back and look at his Smoky Mountain matches. Go back. New Jack, to me, I told him, he was like, man, dude, I told him this during the interview. I told him, dude, to me, you're my Black Terry Funk. And he couldn't believe I said that, but he felt good that I said that. He even said thank you. Remember this one time he and Chaz came to the house. They just popped up because that's usually what they would do. He just popped up to the crib, and New Jack came down and did a bumper for me. You know, hey, you watching Pro Wrestling Countdown? This is New Jack. Or something like, yo, this is New Jack. You watching Pro Wrestling Countdown? Something. Then he yelled out, but I'm Rick James, bitch. That was New Jack. That was Jerome Young. Grateful that I had the opportunity to call him a friend, mentor, and just to say he was a part of my life. For, you know, the time that he was there. He came and picked me up one time. I was depressed, and he just came and scooped me up and, you know, took me out for a drive, went down to the bar. We had a couple of drinks, and we sat there and talked for a while. That was a friend. You have somebody in your life like that. Keep them. Give them their flowers every day. Man, and on that note, I want to say RIP to Jerome Young. Thank you so much for everything you did for me and did for this sport. And may you rest in peace, because you are able to now rest in peace. And that's not because you wrestled The Undertaker years ago and he did what he did to you, but that's another story. You need to go watch that clip on YouTube, people. But, hey, I want to thank you for joining me this week. And I have fun, and I can't wait to do it again. You're listening to the Stephon Devereux Show. Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. We'll see you next week.
You're listening to Angry Kids 24/7 Radio. Angry Kids 24/7 Radio.